Okay, 7.14, we're factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Before we factor, let's go multiply it out so we can see what's going on, to see what would be the best method for doing this. So I'm going to multiply 3x plus 4 times 2x plus 10 using the box method. Okay, 3x, 2x, that's 6x to the second, that's 8x, 30x, and 40, and then let me write my answer. Okay, in standard form. I'm gonna go ahead and multiply the next one as well, and then we're gonna look at it and see what the best way to do this is. Okay, now when we're factoring, remember we're starting with this is our problem and we're trying to get it back into this format. Okay, so if I look at this answer and this, how did that even relate to this? Okay, what do I see? Well, I do see that the 40 is 4 times 10. So I know that those two have to times to get this one. Okay, now what else do I see? I see that when I do the 3x times the 2x, I have to get this 6x squared. Now the 38x is kind of hard to envision where it came from because I had to add like terms and I had to do work. So when we do these, we're going to concentrate on getting this and this right, and then these ones we have to figure out later. Okay, so on this one, if I look the same way, if I look only at the first term, I know that this times this has to equal the first term. I also know that this times this has to equal the last term, which is this one. Okay, the middle terms are a little trickier to check, so we're gonna wait and check them later. Okay, the other thing I'm gonna look at is if this has all positives, this has all positives. Okay, for this one, the C is positive, but the middle term is negative. In order to make this positive and this negative, it's gotta be a minus minus. Okay, let's try it and see. We're gonna do the box method on these, but then we'll do distributing as well. Okay, I wanna factor this. Now I used to be able to do it in my head, but now there's this number in front of the x squared that makes it harder. So let's first look at the 5x to the second. For 5x to the second, I know that this times this has to equal to 5x to the second. So what could be the two things that go there? Okay, my guess, let's do 5x times x. This is my guess. I might be wrong, unfortunately. Okay, now let me see. Now I'm going to look at the last term, the c term. Okay, I'm going to think of what I times to get 4. Well, that's a little trickier because I could do 2 times 2 and I could do 4 times 1. Okay, I'm going to make a guess about which one I think is correct. And if I'm wrong, I'll just try the other one. Okay, but since this is all positives, I'm going to put all positives. So let me just try 4 times 1. And I know that's going to give me a 4 here. So I know that the 5x squared is good. The 4 is good. I want to see if the 12x is good. So I'm going to do this times this. I get 4x. Right here, 1 times 5x, I get 5x. Okay, now the question is, if I do 5x plus 4x, do I get 12x? I don't. Okay, so my guess was not right. So let me retry this. Instead of 4 times 1, let me try 2 times 2 and see if that's correct. 2 is 4. Okay, I know this is right. I know this is right. How about the middle term? If I do x times 2, I get 2x. If I do 5x times 2, I get 10x. And if I do 10x plus 2x, I get 12x. So this is the correct factors. So I need to go back and write my factors. So for my first factor, I have 5x positive 2. Okay, and then my other factor is x and positive 2. And it doesn't matter which one goes first. Okay, now let's try another one. We are guessing and checking, but we're trying to make smart guesses. Okay, so this is starting with 2x to the second, which means the 2 matters. So let's start with this. Okay, I know that, what do I know? This times this has to equal 2x to the second. So let's make a guess. How about 2x times x? Only possibility, let's do it. It does not matter which one goes in which spot. Here, I'll switch it and do it. 2x here and x here. Okay, now let's look at the last term. The last term's 5. What can I times to get 5? Well, I could do 5 times 1. I could also do 1 times 5. And in this case, it does actually make a difference. So let's just make a guess about 1 and then see if it works. If it doesn't work, I switch it. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to make a wrong guess. Okay, I'm going to do 5 here and 1 here. Now, what else am I going to check? Oh, you know what? This is a minus 7x. So it must be that this is a minus and a minus. Okay, let's check. Minus 1 times minus 5 is still 5. So I've gotten the first and last term correct. Let me check the middle terms. If I do 2x times negative 5, I get negative 10x, negative 1x. Now, negative 10x and negative 1x, there's no way that makes negative 7. Okay, so I tried this and this. Let me switch the 5 and the 1. And then it should work because there's no other possibility. Okay, so that was, what was that? Let's make this 1. Let's make this 5. Okay, now it still equals to 5. This times this still equals 5. But now my like terms are messed up. So let's try them again. Okay, that's negative 2x, negative 5x. Okay, if I do negative 2x plus negative 5x, I do get negative 7x. Okay, so this way is working. Let me list the two factors because that's my answer, is the two things I multiplied. Okay, and the order you put them doesn't matter. Okay, next examples, I'm gonna do the same thing, except for I'm gonna use distribution to check. But after this, you'll be able to pick your method. Okay, and remember, the reason this is harder is because of this number in front of the x squared. That makes everything harder. Okay, so when I do distribution, I'm gonna start with what I'm trying to put. Okay, I know it's gonna look something like this. Okay, let me start with my first term, this thing. Okay, I know that this times this has to equal to this. So what could I do there? How about 3x times x? 3x times x. Okay, now let me look at the last number, just like we did on the box. I see a 5. What do I times to get 5? Well, just 5 times 1 or 1 times 5? I don't know which one goes which place, so I'm just going to guess. Let's try 5, 1. Okay, now the middle term is a negative 8x. This is a positive. So it must be that this is a negative, because it adds up to negative 8, but it has to times to positive 5. Now, I have no idea if this is correct or not. In order to check it, I have to actually distribute it and check. So now I'm going to distribute it and check. 3x times x, let me put ck for check. 3x times x, 3x to the second, minus 3x, minus 5x, positive 5. Okay, now I knew for sure this one was going to match, and this was going to match because I picked it that way. The question is, if I do this and this, do I get this? Oh, I do. Since I do, then this was the correct factors. So that's my answer. If this didn't give me the correct answer, I would try another combination and then see if it worked. Okay, let's try one more example, and then you'll try it on your own. Okay, let me see. I am going to go ahead and set it up. Okay, let me just look at the first term. Okay, what do I times to get 10x to the second? Ooh, well, I could do 5x times 2x, or I could do 10x times x. What do you think? Let's try 5x and 2x. But I'm just guessing. If I'm wrong, I'll just change it later. Okay, now let me look at the last term, because I know that this times this has to equal that. Okay, what do we think? It could be 3 times 1. It could be 1 times 3. I have no idea, so I'm going to guess. Okay, now everything in this equation is positive, so it's got to be positives. Okay, now to check it, I need to distribute it. 5x, 2x, that's 10x to the second, plus 5x, plus 6x, plus 3. Okay, now I knew this was going to be correct, and I knew this was going to be correct because I made it so. Okay, now if I do 5x plus 6x, do I get 17x? No, I don't. Okay, so something's wrong. So what do I want to change? Well, one thing, I could either change the 3 and the 1 to 1 and 3, or I could try the 10x and the x. Let's just switch the 1 and 3 and see if that helps. 1 3. Okay, now let me recheck it. 5x, 2x, 10x to the second. 5x times 3 makes this 15x. 1 times 2 is 2x. And then 1 times 3 is still 3 because I didn't change anything. Okay, now if I do 15x plus 2x, I do get 17x, which means this is the correct answer. Okay, go ahead and try the practice problems carefully. You can try the box to check your answer, or you can distribute to check your answer. But don't get frustrated if you get it wrong. You just switch something and then try again.